To give this approach a little context, the reason I'm going so indirect is because this girl is by herself sitting down, and I feel like there's a good chance that she's with other people, and I want to find that out before I go too direct because she could be with her boyfriend or whatever. Because usually a girl's not going to be in that situation actually just by herself. So that's why I'm going super indirect, like when's the movie starting or whatever I said.
I don't know. I didn't know there's
Being
movies.
sarcastic.
Oh.
And there comes the boyfriend, who, by the way, he's what, 6'4", 250. All right, so there comes the boyfriend. This is not a best case scenario. So he comes right up, and I'm going to get into what this actually means about like why you shouldn't do what this guy is doing. But for me, this is like worst case scenario. Like, what is this guy going to try to fight? What the fuck? So let's see where that goes.
Okay, I'm not doing anything aggressive or anything.
So he comes right the fuck up, tells me, get the fuck out, like shoo fly, shoo. And that's the start of it. And I'm just like, I'm not doing anything aggressive. I'm not being confrontational, but I'm not like just walking away either and backing down overly submissive.
You're not doing anything aggressive, right? You both have a good night.
And he says, does it look like she know nothing? No. Which is kind of funny. I guess that's actually a pretty alpha thing to say. Like, my girl, she doesn't know nothing. That's kind of funny. But yeah, so he's being super aggressive. Worst case scenario. This is the kind of thing, if you get in a fight, it's not going to happen out of nowhere. What happens is the guy comes up to you and then you get aggressive back. That's how you get into a fight. Like, you start saying, oh yeah, you want to, like, there's this dance you have to do. But if you just say, I'm chill, like I'm cool, you're not going to get in a fight. I've done thousands upon thousands of approaches, plenty of which the boyfriend comes in. That happens sometimes. This isn't common, but it'll happen sometimes. Maybe one out of like every 50 or 100 approaches, the boyfriend will come in kind of aggressive. But he's not going to just punch you out of nowhere unless you're clearly like going over the line or doing something crazy. So this is about the worst case scenario that's actually going to happen. And as long as you're just not matching his energy and just being like, okay, man, cool. You're not going to get into a fight. And this is something a lot of people, this is their biggest fear. The boyfriend's going to come in. Not a huge deal. It's uncomfortable. Obviously, it's awkward, but it's not that common, and it doesn't actually hurt you.
She could. You have a good night. No need to be aggressive.
Now, actually, what I should have done, because I was recording, is I should have explained like how this makes her more likely to cheat on you. But this is for myself. This is the best way to deal with the situation, because if you get confrontational with him or argue with him, what's that going to do to your energy?
Negative, make it negative.
You're just getting more, because this is already super negative energy over nothing. I wasn't hitting on her aggressively. I wasn't doing anything. And he's just being super aggressive. Obviously, he'd probably win in a fight anyway. So I'm not going to want to like fight, But for yourself, the best thing to do, in my opinion, is just get out of the situation as fast as possible. Because the more you get enmeshed in it, the more it's going to affect your energy. The more you're going to get into like a negative space, and it's going to get harder to break out. So I just get out of there within like 30 seconds. It's not a big deal. This is going to happen. But my night after that, actually the approach where I said, I put it on YouTube, like approaching a really hot blonde girl or something like that. That was right after this. So it didn't affect my state that much. And I still had a great night, but it's because I didn't like argue with him. However, if I was doing it for a video, I should have explained to him, you're showing her that you don't trust her to be able to reject men on her own. So what are you communicating to her? That you think that she might actually go home with another guy? Because I was there for like 5 seconds and he's instantly like, get the fuck away. That makes you look jealous. It makes you look controlling. It makes you look like you're in scarcity. And if you have a girlfriend and you act that way, you're more likely to drive her towards cheating. It's better, like if a guy is being aggressive, right? If a guy's being super aggressive, then yes, you need to do something about it. But if your girl is just having a normal conversation and she doesn't look like she's uncomfortable or like being pushed away, and you just intervene super aggressively, that makes you look like you don't trust her.
Yeah. What if she's like showing interest in the guy and like perhaps getting a little bit like touchy and like flirty with this other guy and
That's a
it's your
red flag is
girlfriend.
what that is. I'd actually rather let that play out a little bit to see, because if you're getting evidence, like, is she a cheater or not? Right? If you intervene, then you don't know, like, was she going to cheat? Because you're not always going to be there. So if she's going to do that when you're there, you don't know what she's going to do when you're not there. So if you let it play out and she actually does something that's a little over the line, she starts to seem like she's going to cheat, that's good to know, right? That's useful to know. But in the last time,
would you ever try to like change this course of that interaction, or would you just like let it be?
If it seems neutral, right? If it seems neutral, like this was very neutral. It wasn't flirtatious, but it wasn't negative either. In that kind of situation, after like a minute or two, I'd say, set a boundary, basically say, hey, we got to go, or, hey, sorry, man, that's my girlfriend. Right. But I wouldn't do it in a super aggressive way. I do it in a, hey, just letting you know you're wasting your time. So, right, she's with someone. But I wouldn't say, the fuck, bro, you need to get it, because that makes you look like you don't trust her. That's on an unconscious level. Like, you have to mate guard her. The only reason you have to mate guard her is if you think she's actually going to fuck other guys. If you didn't think she would do that, you have no reason to act that way, right? Unless a guy is being super aggressive or something. So acting overly jealous, and this, not just when a guy's there, but in general, the way you communicate with your girlfriend, if you have one, if you're coming across as like overly protective, or you get defensive when she brings up a guy or something like that, that just makes her more likely to cheat, because it shows that you don't trust her to be able to reject men on her own, which means that you're insecure or something else negative. So that's that one. And that's about the worst thing that's going to happen in pickup. Like, that's the generally nothing more. You're not going to get more negative energy than something like that. That'll happen occasionally. It's not that common. It's not a big deal. If you really let it affect you and you like keep thinking, like playing it on a loop, then it can fuck with you. But every time you encounter something like this, it actually makes you more grounded. Right? Every time you encounter something like this, it makes everything else easier, because you've just dealt with a lot of pressure, a lot of social pressure. And this is how you become basically icy, how you become very confident, unreactive, grounded, is by going through situations like this. So see it as a good thing every time something like this happens, as long as you don't do something to make it worse.